Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Bastian Weekly, your source for news on roles, recruitment, supply chain, and tech. So just a couple of roles I wanted to mention on today's episode. Firstly, we've got a brand new program director role in construction based in Malaysia. So if you are based in Malaysia, speak Bahasa, ideally KL location, have a background in project and program management, specifically in construction or automation, I think this would be an exciting role for you. We've got a head of Southeast Asia role for a up-and-coming cold chain 3PL. So if you've got a background in cold chain, P&L experience dealing with customers and overseeing multiple sites, this sounds like a great role for you. We've also got an ops excellence manager with the same company. So if you've got a background in project management, continuous improvement, cold chain, we'd love to talk to you about that role. We are currently recruiting a senior director for supply chain in the management consulting space. So our client is a APAC leading supply chain advisory company looking for a lead for their Sydney office. So if you're Sydney based, have a background in management consulting and a strong functional knowledge in supply chain, this could be an attractive role for you, competitive salary on offer. And last role I wanted to mention was a head of logistics role for a pre-IPO global logistics service provider. Multi-billion-dollar top-line revenue number globally. This role would oversee 6 sites domestically here in Australia in their contract logistics space. So if you've got a background in logistics services, contract logistics, and overseeing a multi-site operation, this could be a great role for you. Just one thing I wanted to mention from the recruitment side was there are some signs that salary growth is starting to tick back up after a bit of a lull, according to Seek Data. And I thought that was really great news for candidates and also for everyone in the recruitment space, that salaries are starting to reflect a little bit more around and tying into the inflation cost too. On the supply chain and tech news, just a couple things I wanted to mention on today's episode. I thought this was interesting. For the first time ever in Europe, private companies are actually holding the majority of the rail freight network in Europe. So first time ever, there's actually a 51% market share by private companies in the rail network system. And again, I wondered if that's a trend that's going to continue moving forward in terms of privatization of typically government-owned services. And the second thing I wanted to mention was a recent report talking about the continued investment in automation. A recent report that we saw suggested that 42% of businesses over the next 5 years, specifically in retail, manufacturing, and the 3PL space, are going to be investing heavily in automation. So again, I think that kind of aligns and ties into the types of roles we've recently been recruiting, as well as the activity in the network and the activity in just in general in the supply chain hiring space. So again, a good sign for new careers in tech and new careers in automation that there's going to be continued investment in that space moving forward. So that's really all we've got today for our episode of the Bastian Weekly. I'd love to hear your comments, questions, concerns in the comment section below. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great day. Cheers.